the fact that people in, well, some people in newspapers fear digital. Most of the informed people don't, because it creates audiences that we could never have imagined before. 3 years ago, I was fortunate enough to go on HMCS Winnipeg, Canadian frigate, off the east coast of Africa to chase Somali pirates for 3 weeks. And it was absolutely one of the greatest stories I've ever covered. I was also the only print reporter there. So at that time, and we were lucky enough that on one particular Saturday morning, we captured 2 Somali pirate skiffs. And I was on the boarding party for the second one and got all this fantastic video and photos and got to read one of the greatest stories that I've ever had the honor to write about watching and writing about the whole situation in the Gulf. So because that was in Africa, Saturday morning allowed us to still hit Saturday's papers in Canada. So my story was sent to the Winnipeg Free Press, and John's here so he can correct me on the numbers, but so into the Saturday paper, our readership, not our circulation, Saturday would probably run 300,000-400,000 people in a day would probably read that story, and it was undoubtedly the most read story online that day, so that would have been how many extra sets of eyes? Another 70 or 80,000. So you can see, like, just that is an incredible boost to it. But that's not where it ended. At that time, we were sharing information with CanWest. So my story was also published in every CanWest newspaper. And it was carried on all of those newspapers' website. And it went in the National Post. And it was also carried on Canada.com and nationalpost.com. So when I got back from Africa, I had lunch with David Asper at the Red Top Diner, and we took out a napkin and we started figuring out the audience. I was a little low on some of the numbers, but he put in all the audience for all the circulations of their paper and all the, anyways, somewhere between 3 and 5 million people probably read part of my story on that Saturday. Now that's, we couldn't imagine that before. So it's really hard for me to buy into the fact that digital is killing newspapers. We have to figure a way of making money off it, but I wouldn't say that it's killing what we're doing. It's creating an enormous audience. We just have to figure out a way of connecting with them and reestablishing that contract with them that what we do is valuable and it's worth paying for. I hope everybody understands that what the internet certainly has done is created an entirely new relationship between reader or viewer and journalist. That's really, it really does affect what we do. I write something and it appears first thing in the morning, and I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. The first thing I do is I send out a tweet with a link to my column. And then, and we're, columnists are asked to watch carefully the comments that are posted on our work, both to report on, offensive comments, but also to interact with people. So a good portion of my day now through Twitter and online comments is spent interacting with readers. And there's the good, bad, and the ugly of that. I mean, I've met incredible people doing that. I've also had people, wish that I got cancer. They want to burn my house down with people inside. The anonymous comment, like the anonymous blog, in the wrong hands is a dangerous tool. So there's that part of it. But as well, the best part, in my opinion, of what the blogosphere or the citizen, participatory community is offering is good writers are good writers. I mean, there are people who are born good writers. They just are. Some people have to learn it. There are great storytellers, and you don't have to go to university to become a great storyteller. And, really, the gross majority of what's posted on blogs is analysis and commentary on both current events and on the media's coverage of current events. Now, the second part of that's been a painful process. I mean, I've got the spank marks to show, we're both know we're talking about some of the same people. But you know what, too? It's absolutely, I should be asked, if the technology allows it, why shouldn't I have to defend what I've done or explain it? Or at times I've admitted that, well, I could have expressed that better, or I should have included that information. So, I mean, I think I do read blogs that I think make a great contribution. And some of those bloggers have written for the newspaper because they proved all on their own that they have something to say and they can say it eloquently. And it's up to them to decide whether they want to be called journalists or not. A lot of them don't want to be called journalists. But to me, what they're doing is journalism. And I do think that can grow organically. I think you can start with nothing but a Blogspot account, and certainly with the help of people like Noah, that can provide some of the tips on methodology, which I think is the toughest part for people. I think it's a brave new age. We're in election coverage now. We're creating forum for people who are not journalists to comment directly on a daily basis on the election campaign. I just want to offer one small last defense, though, of traditional media, especially newspapers, which is, newspapers created the interactive comment section. I mean, and much different, really, than any other form of media. But, the Winnipeg Free Press is about 143 years old or something now. For every year that the Winnipeg/Manitoba Free Press is published, we have published the comments of our readers, commenting on the work that we did. Now, it took a few days for the letter to arrive and to, so the immediacy of what's going from that to a few seconds when you read it online is profound. But I can say, like, the newspaper industry has always put a big emphasis on giving readers a chance to call us to account for what we've done. And most newspapers, despite our our better thoughts, we still continue to provide very open forum for people to comment on our work online. And it's a good thing. And I think that the more people want to put work into contributing content, the more that content, will add to what we're doing. It doesn't have to replace what we're doing, but it does. It adds new set of eyes, new perspectives, new writers, new stories, that we might not otherwise have gotten, especially in a world where we're employing fewer and fewer journalists. But I don't think it's about replacing. I think it's about creating a new model of media.